Today at noon, updates in a deadly shooting involving Portland police officers. New body camera video shows what happened inside a Pearl District apartment. Plus, health officials are reminding parents of a quickly approaching vaccine deadline, why they say it's important for your child to be up to date. And in an upset this morning, Jordan Stolz missing out on a gold medal sweep, where he placed in his last speed skating race of the 2026 Olympics. Thanks so much for joining us here at noon. I'm Stephanie Domerat. The talks of snow and where it will fall has been on our minds all week. And while we didn't see any flakes here in the city, parts of the Cascades and the Coast Range did get a few inches. That's where we find Thomas Schultz, who's live right by the Edwards Tunnel for us. Thomas, you have been out there all morning. How's it going there now?
Yeah, Stephanie, look, this is the place where we've seen the most snow this morning. Now, the Edwards Tunnel is that one tunnel coming from Highway 26 from Portland out to the Coast Range. We're at about 1,100 feet, and check this out. I'm gonna put my foot in the snow here, and it just drops down. That's about 5 or 6 inches of snow here. Once again, the most snowfall we've seen anywhere in the Coast Range all morning long. Myself and photographer Eric Patterson have been traveling back and forth on Highway 26. You just saw that car go by. Highway 26 looks really good right now. Here's a semi coming by as well. Look, this was a little bit of a problem spot a little bit earlier this morning where there was a little bit of sludge on the roadways. There was a place where it was slick. We've seen ODOT crews out here since about 5:30 this morning, not just snow plows, but also somebody putting down sand. There's a little bit of gravel on the roadway as well. So clearly something that they have been prioritizing all morning long to make sure Highway 26 was a place where people could go and be just functional as general. But once again, right here, over here, it just looks like a winter wonderland right off to the side of the road. Those tree branches still a little bit heavy with snow. So that is the one caution that I want to warn people about is if you're on Highway 26, watch out because snow is falling off of those trees. But still, fortunately, Stephanie, those roads are looking pretty good on the Coast Range.
All right, Thomas, thank you. Sure is pretty and glad to know it's not impacting traffic there. Thank you. And we are tracking in the metro where we're seeing snow and across our area. Let's get to meteorologist Chris McGinnis. You got to look at the coast for us.
I do. Check this out. It's not often you see this. Cascade Head in the background from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera in Lincoln City. You got some snow up there. Of course, the elevation of the headland gets up over 1,000, maybe 1,200 feet. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And you can also see some blue sky in the background, meaning our precipitation is quickly coming to an end here across the Pacific Northwest. Looking offshore here, in fact, there's a lot of blue sky to be had there. All right, radar over the last 3 hours. You get a little smattering of some sprinkles and scattered very light rain showers. Although as I put the live scan up now, you can see for the most part that has pretty much come to an end outside of a spit of rain or two here and there. We're up to 41 degrees last check at PDX, and across the region we're in the low 40s in a lot of spots. 39 right now, Forest Grove, one of the cooler locations. Oregon City, Wilsonville, likewise checking in at 39. And Dallas, same story, 40 right now in Salem. All right, the plan for the rest of this afternoon, we'll call it mostly to maybe partly cloudy. There's the outside chance of a sprinkle, but generally the lion's share of our precipitation has already fallen. And we're pretty much done with that, with high temperatures inching again into the low 40s, about 43 or 44. We'll do it here in Portland. The potential concern tonight is for temperatures getting down to near the freezing mark tomorrow morning, which could mean a slick spot or two on the roads for Friday's morning commute. Otherwise, we are transitioning back to our normal and regularly scheduled rainy weather pattern heading into the weekend, and we'll look at that coming up in just a few minutes. Stephanie?
Okay, we'll see you then, Chris. Thank you. 2 students at Mark Morris High School in Washington were arrested this morning for rape. The Longview Police Department says the 2 were part of an investigation involving criminal allegations. The department is also looking into mandatory reporting requirements. There is no threat to students, and anyone with more information is asked to contact police. Portland police released body camera video of officers shooting and killing a man at an apartment in the Pearl District. The shooting happened back on February 5th. We do want to warn you that video can be tough to watch, but we will not show the actual shooting. Officers were serving a search warrant of 57-year-old Eric Scherer after they say he threatened to shoot a grocery store security officer. Body cam video shows officers breaching the door of his apartment around 5:15 in the morning. He refused to come out. Officers say they tried to negotiate and eventually used gas to force him out. Portland police say he came out with a gun And that's when an officer fired from behind a ballistic shield. Another officer then fired from a stairwell. Scherer was holding a gun and a flashlight. The district attorney's office announced this morning the shooting was justified. Detective Charles Ashame and Officer Dustin Barth are now both on administrative leave, which is standard protocol. The February 25th deadline to update your child's vaccination records to avoid missing school is quickly approaching. Under Oregon law, all students in school, including preschool and those in child care facilities, must have documentation of required immunizations, or they will not be allowed to attend class. Over 4,500 Multnomah County families received school exclusion warnings. Multnomah County's health officer, Dr. Richard Bruno, stressed the importance of children getting immunizations like the measles vaccines. The county is orchestrating catch-up clinics so those who still need their vaccines can get them fast.
The 3 clinics that we're offering as catch-up clinics are this Saturday from 10 to 2 p.m., next Tuesday evening from 5 to 8 p.m., and then next Wednesday from 9 a.m. to noon. And those are at the OHSU Richmond Clinic on Southeast Division. This is a very urgent year because there's been so many measles cases across the United States. Here in Oregon, we've had 5 cases of the measles, so we really want to ensure that people have gotten both of those required vaccines for the measles.
No appointments are needed for the walk-in clinics, and no insurance or ID is required. Well, that was the scene last night at a Portland City Council meeting that led to 4 people being arrested. The protesters who were angry about Portland's ICE facility had to be removed from the council chambers before the meeting was moved online. Alma McCarty has the story.
Can we please call attendance? Call roll.
Portland city councilors convened Wednesday with intentions to discuss more than $20 million of unbudgeted housing funds.
Each of you are passing the buck on to anyone else trying to get the heat off yourselves and make excuses for inaction.
A group of anti-ICE protesters who continuously urged the city to close the South Portland Immigration and Customs facility had other plans.
Directing security to please remove the individuals from space.
The disruption, which drove the council to recess and reconvene virtually, continued inside council chambers until Portland police arrived, pushing the protesters out the doors. Meantime, councilors carried on.
Every time we have met so far, the number of dollars being identified has grown. This has been a relatively exhausting exercise.
The council is considering using the money for things like rent assistance or developing more affordable housing. But in the end, Wednesday, they voted to postpone further discussion.
I do not feel like this body is ready to make a decision of this magnitude.
We need to get some money on the streets right now. And just delaying this, I mean, justice delayed is justice denied.
And that was Alma McCarty reporting for us. Portland Community College has sent out another alert related to the man accused of stalking and harassing people near campus. The latest message was sent yesterday afternoon about a sexual harassment incident at a bus stop at 82nd and Division. College leaders believe they've identified the man who has stalked or harassed students at least 4 times over the last month. But so far, it appears none of the victims have filed police reports. Officials say the person in question was already banned from all PCC campuses. If you or someone you know is a survivor of sexual assault, remember there is help available anytime. You can get 24/7 support by calling the National Sexual Assault Hotline at the number you see here on your screen, 1-800-656-4673. Starting Monday, the historic Columbia River Highway will close down during the daytime for up to 3 weeks from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays. ODOT crews will be removing hazardous trees and loose rock between Larch Mountain Road and Vista House. The storms back in December triggered landslides there, and while temporary repairs allowed it to reopen, there is still a lot of cleanup to be done.